Can you remind me, please, what is spiritual pain?
Pretty much all of your false definitions of God are spiritual pain.
Okay.
Can you see, like, if you believe that God's a punishing God, that's a spiritual pain. A pain that affects you spiritually, the way in which you view God has a large bearing on your ability to connect to yourself and connect to God and all those things, but it does form spiritual pain. Physical pain is more like, got a pain in my back, got a pain in my tummy or whatever. Emotional pain is more like, oh, you know, my dad left me, or mum treated me this way, or whatever. Right? Spiritual pain is all about how you believe God to be most of the time, and what you believe about love is all spiritual pain. See, what is true spirituality? Is not true spirituality development in love? So if true spirituality is development in love, then spiritual pain is all of the pains you have about your belief systems about love. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. So obviously we have all sorts of pain which create physical, emotional and spiritual addictions. Yeah. So for example, many of you, when I first met you, were involved in New Age movements. Yeah. And to me that was your spiritual addiction, to avoid some truth about God, and you came to feel that you might be God or a part of God, and you know that there's no such thing as God. It's not really God, you know, there's no personality God, but rather there's there's just, I'm a part of God, you're a part of God, we're all fragments of God. So that was a spiritual addiction. To believe that, it's a spiritual addiction in order to avoid some emotion. And what's the emotion that helps you avoid? That God neglects you, that God can't communicate with you and you're not hearing God. It helps you avoid all that, because if we're all a part of God, then we don't have to worry about that. Does that make sense? Every belief system we have is created generally by some kind of addiction. Yeah. And you can trace them all back, and you will be able to, as you work through your pain, you will be able to trace everything back. Every choice you've made, why you made it, the beliefs you've had, why you've had them, you'll be able to trace them all back. And I think that's fantastic, because you get to the stage where you go, wow, I only believe that because of this, and I only believe that because of this, and you start to really understand yourself well, which is great. Yeah. All right. Now, of course, I should mention, of course, I've skipped a bit in the outline, haven't I? Yeah, those very important tools for deconstruction of anything. But you know them, right? You know what I mean when we talk about them now. So don't neglect those tools. Developing an aspiration to develop those tools is essential. Without those tools, you're not going to be able to do it. Just not. So everything we talk about in terms of deconstructing, releasing your pain, you're not going to be able to do it without those tools. You need faith, you need truth, you need to take action, you need to be humble, you need to feel your emotions. You have to do it. You got to get to a stage where you want to. And that it will, for each of you individually, be different. Time, there'll be resistance here, resistance there. And when I say have to, what I'm saying is, no, you still got free will. You can choose to do whatever you want. But if you want a relationship with God and you want education from God and education in love, you are going to have to develop those 4 qualities. There's no choice about that. Every single person who I know in the celestial heavens have all developed those qualities. You read the Paget messages, you feel it in every single one, don't you? When, like, if you read messages from Luke, how passionate was he about truth? And then you go to John, and how passionate is he about truth? And then you go to Paul, and how passionate is he about truth? They've all got the same passion about it, haven't they? So what does that tell you? It tells you that every celestial being has the same passion about truth. So that tells me that I must develop a passion about truth. Does that make sense? Now, every celestial being acts. Every celestial being has faith. Every celestial being feels exactly what they feel. Right? And that tells me that I need to develop those qualities And if I can develop those qualities, they'll stay with me for millennia, for the rest of my existence. What I like about it is that, as if I don't like much about it, but anyway, what I like about it is that God's designed this process in such a way that all the things that you need to develop in order to make the current transition are the exact things you're going to need for the rest of your existence. In other words, they don't disappear. Isn't that great? It's not like how most man-made programs are. A lot of times, they develop a program and the thing you learn in the early days you discard later on. But all of God's stuff all builds on each other and it all has solid foundation. Yeah.